How's it going, everybody? Today I'm just gonna do a quick video on a couple things that I've gotten done to this bike, and maybe some things like the riding gear that I have, which I will go in a little bit of detail in. I just saw a video on YouTube that was kind of reviewing the brand of the hoodie that I have and these gloves right here, which these gloves are pretty nice, but the reviews weren't good. So I also wanted to clarify that before, because I didn't know that before I purchased the hoodie. I probably would have purchased a Torque hoodie or something better, but today I'm just replacing this ignition cover with a better one. I got the Chimera ignition cover plate for the Eride Pro SS. It's made out of aluminum. It looks like it's 3D printed. They have a few different colors. They have raw silver, the black, and then the red. But I'm just gonna replace this today real quick and then go over a couple things. So as far as the riding gear goes, I'm gonna link a video that I saw earlier of a MOTO vlogger going over the NBT brand that I have for my hoodie and these gloves. And really it comes down to, I guess, the stitching of these hoodies not really being all that durable, and they tear real easily. His recommendation was Torque, and then his comments I saw some other brands as far as like the pants go. I'll have all that stuff linked in the description. I don't own a motorcycle, so I don't really have to worry too much about, you know, going at those high speeds and having that type of protection. So I guess I am kind of content with the hoodie that I have right now. I also do have a couple other things for riding, like what I'm wearing right now is, if I can get in there, I think the brand is Hulk. Something I got off of Amazon for like really cheap, but I mean, it's okay too. It's made out of textile, so whenever you're riding, it's really wind resistant. And this is why I'm replacing this ignition cover. Whenever I first installed the X9000, there was just a lot more wires in here, so it was kind of difficult to get everything to fit properly, and it just essentially pushed the ignition plate up from where it was supposed to be. I would definitely take a look at that video if you're thinking about buying the NBT hoodie. Definitely do your research before you buy something that you're trying to use to protect your life, especially if you're going at higher speeds. But as far as that, I do have some khaki armored pants that are made by Beyond Rider, and that's an American company. They had a really nice sale going on at Christmas. They were, I mean, they're like $180 or $200 pants. They were selling them for $99 a piece. And I just got a regular pair of boots on that have composite tips. I do have a set of dirt bike boots, but I don't wear those at all. Something I ran into. So on surrons, this USB charging port has a connector, just like the ignition switch does. But for the Eride Pro, it seems that it goes right to the main harness of the bike, which is connected all the way down through here. So I'm not really going to worry about taking that all the way apart. I'm just going to end up slicing this down and then cutting the wires and then just splice them back together later and retape it all back up. So I'm just going back this far, that way I can take these wires individually and then rewrap this heat shrink around and then just tape that back up too. So we'll go ahead and remove this real quick. And this is what holds it in place. You just have that simply screwed on. So I'm just gonna keep that aside. And I don't know if you guys noticed at all, but this connector is completely different than my previous one. And if you see down in here, there's no more breaker box. So I recently got the EWatt battery, the 81 volt 45 amp battery, and this connector came with it, which it was really good timing because on my X9000 connector, which I still have right over here, the actual connector that connects to the Eride Pro stock battery melted to the harness. So I had to have a friend come over and very carefully, since the battery still had a charge on it, we cut the wire off. And after that, we just pulled the battery out, separated that, taped everything off so it was safe. To which we installed this new harness, which is a lot more durable for the EWatt battery. I think that they are trying to update a lot of the connectors that they have on the batteries for the newer bikes coming out. That way they don't melt to your connector, but that's definitely something to watch out and worry about if you're running in high speeds at low temperatures. You really have to be careful. I mean, that can be a really expensive fix if you don't have the resources available. This ignition switch is just held in by a couple push tabs inside of it, so you just need to get a flat head and just push them in to be able to release it. Alright, so I decided to go to the store and get some male and female connectors. That way I don't have to worry about this in the future if I ever do take this cover plate off. So right here I've got the USB port. There's the green wire right there, and then the black wire right here. So then they'll just be able to plug right back into what they are supposed to. So let's go ahead and get this put back in. I'm not going to worry about taping them individually at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this tape around both of them together. Alright, so with all this back intact, I can remove that in the future if I have to easier. I'm just going to go ahead and reassemble all of this. So let's just get these wires tucked in here somewhere good, out of the way. So now the new ignition cover plate is on. I'm going to put the battery in, make sure everything is working properly. And this is the EWatt battery, the 81 volt. It does sit higher than the stock battery, so you do need to get an extension for it. Alright, now we got the battery in. Let's go ahead and plug it in, make sure it works. Battery's at 63%. I guess it has been sitting out here for a little while. Alright, so everything's working good. Battery showing 63%, if you can see that. I just have to put the battery cover plate back on and that's set. So here's the new ignition plate from Chimera. It's pretty nice. I think it works really well with this bike. My old one was just bowing out because of the wires inside, and I mean this is gonna hold up so much better. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this battery cover back on and wrap this up. Alright, so we have the ignition plate back on. Got the battery cover back on. Got a little sticker from Chimera that I threw on there. If you do notice, let me pull the stock one just to compare. But this battery plate does give you a little bit more play with wires. If you notice right at the top here, it's slanted so that you have a little bit more play. Wires can come out of this side a little bit easier. aside from your stock one where it kind of grooves down. That's what I was having the problem with. The wires were trying to come up from underneath of the sides, so it eventually just popped it up, and that's what broke that part. So this is definitely a lot better of a ignition plate cover. I know there's some other brands that are out there, but this one just looked the best to me. And being constructed of aluminum, that's not going anywhere. That's not going to bust over like this is from the screw. So I definitely recommend upgrading the ignition plate cover if you can. If you do end up upgrading anything as far as the controller or the motor, anything that you're adding any extra wires to. With the EWAT, you do get more room for wires. Since this harness just connects straight to the controller, you completely delete the breaker out from the inside, so you do get a little extra room, which I used that to fit the fatter connections from the X9000 controller. If you guys are interested in me going over basically each and every part that I have put on this bike and put links in any descriptions, definitely let me know. I don't mind doing that at all. There's a bunch of stuff that I've put on this bike over time, and there's still more stuff that is going to be put on this thing. Eventually, I'm expecting I'll most likely have enough parts to just do a whole nother build for an E-Ride that'll end up just being another stock bike. So if I'm able to find these frames for sale anywhere, I thought that E-Ride did have them, but I guess they don't now. I'm gonna try and get as much as I can to build a whole other bike, and that would just be a stock version of the E-Ride 2.0. I could either sell that bike or just keep it as another side bike. I don't know. Alright, before I wrap this video up, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Everyone who's been watching, who's been liking and subscribing and putting in their own input in the comments. I really genuinely appreciate it. You know, all I do is really work. I have a very sporadic full-time schedule, different days off, different days of the week that I'm scheduled. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything, but anytime I do get my days off, I do try to dedicate them to what is most important, which, you know, that's going to be family, friends, doing my own side hobbies like working on these kinds of bikes, riding them around, doing whatever. Working as much as I do and getting off, seeing people commenting, liking the video, watching the video, and just seeing the community grow every single day is it's a blessing. I really appreciate it, and I genuinely adore this community. The future for it is only going to get better. I mean, we've seen what 2024 did. A lot of new bikes came out. That's only going to continue. So, once again, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support. It makes making videos a little bit easier as far as just kind of feeling free with whatever I want to say. I don't sugarcoat things, and I don't like to feed false information at all. I really try to be honest with everything that I say, and seeing the community reciprocate that is amazing. I really appreciate it. You guys are freaking awesome. So definitely stay tuned. I've got some interesting ideas for some videos that are going to be coming up later, most likely towards the warmer weather. I do have a bunch of videos of trail rides. If you guys would like me to post them up, I can. I mean, it's nothing like super exciting. It's just, you know, just riding through trails. I'm not really commentating anything at all. So if you guys do have an interest in that, just let me know. I'm definitely willing to drop some of that down. There's some really beautiful views and sights in those videos. So just to go over what I took care of in this video, all I did was replace this ignition switch cover. I think it looks a lot better, and it's so much more durable with it being aluminum. This bike is still the bike that I would recommend anybody and everybody to buy if they're trying to get their first e-moto. The Eride Pro 2.0 specifically, just because of its price point and its power to weight ratio, is amazing. You can save that few extra $100 from what you would put into a 3.0 buying stock, and you can get, use that extra money to buy things like some upgraded handlebars or whatever you want. Definitely 10 out of 10 recommend this bike. I also wanted to say thank you to a couple people that commented on the ALTIS Sigma video asking if the Eride Pro pegs were put on backwards. Whenever I received the bike from Eride, that's just how the pegs were mounted. I've never messed with that mount, specifically this part right here, which is bolted in back here, that I just never really noticed. But they were asking if they were put on backwards, and I mean, at least to my knowledge at the time, they weren't, just because that's how it came from the actual company itself. But I just wanted to say thank you to Lucas Kapow and Mark Fletcher, ATX. You guys are the ones who pointed it out, and now that I'm here and I have some time, I'm gonna go ahead and get that switched over too. Alright, once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It definitely means a lot to me. If you haven't, go ahead and like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for these future videos that I'll have coming out. Everybody, stay safe.